In May, I had the pleasure of attending the Innovate and Educate Africa event in Sandton, Johannesburg, hosted by Anthology, a leading EdTech solutions provider. It attracted a number of learning and development, L&D, and EdTech professionals like myself. I'd also used their LMS when I was a master's student at IE Business School. Now, as an instructional designer, I was interested to know what they were up to. The incredible view of Sandton and Johannesburg at large from the 20th floor was a welcome bonus. After breakfast with that view, we settled down to get started and hear from Anthology and its partners.
With our holistic EdTech ecosystem, you can discover insights far greater than the sum of the data points. Every day, we guide technology with real-world understanding and expertise.
We had opening remarks from Joe Bernardo, Anthology's Chief Revenue Officer, and Raja Sitole, founder and group chairman of One Connect. The proof is really in the pudding with the awards and recognition that Anthology has gotten in EdTech excellence.
For us, winning the Cody Award shows validation that your words, the way that it makes it into the solution, that's getting validated by the industry, that tells us we're doing the right thing.
We then had a product update by Frederick Clemming, the Director of Product Management at Anthology. This was one of the most informative, interesting parts of the day for me. He gave us exciting updates, mainly on the LMS Blackboard Learn Ultra.
Being able to move very, very rapidly. We're in Blackboard Learn Ultra, 200 features. And as you can see, we're almost at double the development velocity of D12 at 112. And almost 3 times the development capacity and pace compared to Canvas, right? Made together with you. And again, to contextualize that statement, that is essentially my favorite quote from last year, a quote from Stephanie Richter at Northern Illinois University in the US, which she essentially went up at stage at Anthology together and said, Anthology didn't build Learn Ultra, we did.
They say numbers don't lie. These are the stats on the outcomes on the Anthology ideas exchanged.
At Anthology, we really believe that the responsible use of AI can have a very powerful and transformative impact on education. And we're very, very excited to be the first LMS provider on the market to harness and bring AI capabilities directly into our learning management system, Learn Ultra. Globally around AI, there are lots of extreme opinions out there, right? There are lots of concerns on the one end of the spectrum and lots of hype on the other. On a creative ideation task, essentially outperform the control group, so those not using AI, by a staggering 40%. So used in the right way, there is a huge opportunity for generative AI to increase the quality of your courses.
Frederick then went on to address some common fears about AI from educators using a study done by the Boston Consulting Group. These include AI lowering the quality of courses and AI replacing them.
It's a common fear, right? But you might have heard of hallucinations. Hallucinations is the generation of AI-derived text or responses by AI tools that seem correct, right? They're syntactically sound, fluent and natural. The language that they output is better than my spoken English, right? And here, instructors play a very, very significant role. They are the subject matter experts. They need to validate the AI output to ensure that it's fit for purpose.
From the study, it became clear that Anthology sees generative AI as necessary to proactively include in Learn Ultra through the AI Design Assistant. It is more of an enabling tool than a hindrance for educators.
Save them time, because we all know how kind of incredibly busy your academics are, right? But have very, very low risk. And this brings me to the...
Of course, it is important to use AI responsibly. He highlighted this via the Trustworthy Use framework, which includes being able to opt in by turning the AI features on and off, the instructor always being in control, and institutional data not being used to train AI models. An AI policy toolkit is also available as a support resource to give clear guidance for higher education.
And obviously, quality of courses, engaging course materials directly impact student retention. We know that the instructors are the subject matter experts, but we also know that not all instructors have been trained to create online content or to teach online, right?
So the AI design assistant is created to make the life of an instructor easier for online teaching and instructional design, while giving students a quality learning experience through features such as image suggestions and generation, course structure suggestions, as well as rubric suggestions.
But we feel that the best way to address concerns around students using AI for their submissions is essentially to put a focus on more authentic assessments. And so from that perspective, we recently introduced the capability for the AI design assistant to essentially suggest more authentic discussion, journaling, and assignment you get is only going to be as good as the input or the context you provided with, right? So that's why we very recently introduced what we call the context picker. So when you launch the AI design assistant and you're looking to generate a certain type of content, for example, you can anchor it at a particular point in your course, and the outputs from the design assistant will be directly aligned to that content.
As we see again in the numbers, the AI design assistant has been growing in usage and acceptance
in the production environment, and the number is growing on a weekly basis. And we see a consistently high rate of adoption across all the tools within the design assistant.
He then lastly shared with us some upcoming features to be added to the AI design assistant, such as the AI language selector, AI badge generation, and personalized learning pathways and scaling instruction. Our MC for the day was Nicholas Albus, the Regional Vice President for the Africa region at Anthology.
My name is Nicholas. I've been in that position for a little bit more than 3 years, and I'm delighted to be in charge of the greatest region that there is at Anthology, which is actually Africa.
There was also a panel discussion with partner higher education institutions in South Africa, such as the University of the Free State and Mangosuthu University of Technology, moderated by Dr. Adriana Botha, Senior Educational Consultant at Anthology. These institutions gave their insights and experiences with Anthology, transitions, and AI.
So over the years, Anthology really valued the customer journey and their stories. And our panelists are here today to share some of those unique stories with you.
I think what it's, just to share with you, our Sunday was about the responsiveness of higher education in terms of artificial intelligence. What are the challenges, and basically looking at how we are actually adopting, artificial intelligence in our teaching and learning practices, in our curriculum development practices, and sort of like assessment and practices.
Use the AI, integrative AI training also in our training initiatives. So yes, so we are very excited about it. Some of our lecturers are using more of the features than others.
So at the University of the Free State, about 2 years ago, we went through quite a big reorganization process where our Centre for Teaching and Learning merged with what was traditionally the Open and Distance Learning Unit, and we've become one. So currently, conversations about how do we take people with us? Because we can put AI technology in front of anyone, but we're still dealing with humans. And a very, very important part of AI is to equip our staff to understand that what AI delivers is actually quality. They must be able to differentiate.
Malcolm Murray, Head of Digital Learning at Durham University, gave us a humorous, engaging and insightful keynote address after lunch about how his institution handled transitioning to Blackboard Learn Ultra.
As AI is coming up, it's important for us just to be transparent. If we're using AI in our slides, then let's tell people who we are.
I was struck by the statement that Learn Ultra is about a change in emphasis towards seeing through the student's point of view. It is about remembering who is being served. Also, the importance of starting small and prioritizing in order to not be overwhelmed by the change. He also talked about keeping the penguins happy, which is about getting the important stakeholders to buy into the change for it to work.
Keeping your family happy and food on the table is to get senior buy-in. Make sure that your executive understands why you need a new LMS, why it aligns to the educational strategy, and make sure everyone knows that. Because you're going to need other people's time. You're going to have to make some changes potentially to other people's jobs and what they do. That needs that high level buy-in to make it happen. Involve staff and students.
Detkan Shepers, the head of e-learning at University of Pretoria, shared their approach to transitioning to Blackboard Learn Ultra, or ClickUp Ultra as they call it.
More than 8,000 students within one module. Whether it's 2015 or 2017, but we moved there already a few years back. And we have a dedicated department.
She outlined how they approached this change with an attitude and actions that helped their success. Danezre Moodley and Sikonzile Zungu from the Digital Education Learning Solutions team at the Gordon Institute of Business also shared their transitioning to Blackboard Learn Ultra and using Blackboard Eliminate for their data insights and reporting.
I think a lot of things where our faculty don't directly actually build on the platform. It's actually our program delivery teams. So our faculty just focus on their subject matter, they focus on their content, they provide everything to the program delivery teams, and our program delivery teams are the ones that actually put it onto platform. And then we go in and we ensure that there's the consistency, the quality is there, and so forth.
Their content and the reports that they require in our state of commerce. Now imagine being able to predict a student's activity and being able to see if they need extra help, or even being able to also determine if the teaching material that we're using is actually resonating with the students. So all this with now a click of a button, or like with just a few clicks.
I was fascinated by Dr. Professor Ramnik Aluwalia, the CEO of Higher Health, and his revolutionary accredited civic and soft skills program to empower the South African youth while covering all the UN's SDGs.
So these are the challenges, should you want to agree with me. Let's give credits to every young South African. Let's think about how do we deal with all these things. You talk about all these factors, intersectionality of issues, but there are also soft skills that needs to be established. One of our first in the country racism, issues of digital citizenship, issues of human rights, constitution, patriotism, peer education, volunteerism, gender transformative education is about gender diversity, gender equality, gender-based violence, mental health, QCTO, which is Quality Council Trade Application, which is a unit with SACWA. First curriculum, according to me, that deals with all SDGs. I'm wearing it very proudly on my list. I think every SDG must reach every young person in South Africa. With us, every assessment is to assess these 10 software. So you learn climate change, you learn gender transformative education, you learn financial literacy, but you answer your assessment on your competency-based FISA exam, or your module assessments are on the soft skills. That's how it is being done.
This is a summary of the program, which ideally will be administered via smartphone with a zero-rated website and a learning management system that provides an appropriate end-to-end solution. Hervé Marché from Amazon Web Services discussed how generative AI has disrupted and innovated, as well as trends in higher education and employment that have emerged from it. He revealed that Amazon Web Services is providing free AI courses that will be helpful for students, as AI will be everywhere in the future of work.
And I think that a lot of people still using ChatGPT because they all believe it was the first one, everybody talked about it. But things are changing because it was a customer-facing kind of product. And when you are in the enterprise world, you need really something for your enterprise. You need something that you can fine-tune for your own need and not really a consumer product. Give them some experience about using GenAI. Give them some, project, do internship, have them link with companies. So when they have their diploma, they also have this kind of a starting of experience for the employees, and that's very important. Sharing with you, so what is customer could be your user, your student, what is the employee can be your staff, and what can be, the optimizing the business can be your IT. This one may be two examples, so you can see the industry, we have seen medical, we shared this morning, one of the panelists this morning was in medical science. That's the most obvious, during COVID, all of the AI, all of the Gen AI was used, to find the vaccine. That's certainly this consumer-facing product that changed the paradigm, but it's also the fact that people with no technical background, you can code. You can code, not knowing Python, not knowing any coding, using Gen AI. That's 30% of increase of salary. I think you are going to motivate all of your students to go for it. Easier to find a job. Employment is very important. I think that in society, education, health, employment are the key of success. We are committed to do this kind of training. And we had, since Gen AI is coming, a training for 2 million people on Gen AI. And we have already, for free, on our website, 80 courses, only Gen AI courses that you can, advise to your students. My team, Maxwell and Max are here.
Roger Sitole then returned to introduce our final keynote speaker, Zanele Njapa, founder and CEO of Unlearners, the unlearning lady as she is fondly called.
With enthusiasm. Known as the unlearning lady by her customer, she has helped build a culture where instead of annoyed and frustrated people are excited about change.
She gave us a lovely reflective wrap-up of our whole day. The importance of being able to learn and unlearn as you navigate adopting changes. To look and look again as you challenge what you think you know.
The final presentation is just going to be how do we work on ourselves so that when we get around the corner, so that when we adopt, when we amplify, when we transform, we're better positioned for it. All of the resistance you brought into this room is probably going to settle in after about 2 weeks. When you come from a conference, everyone is so excited and they're like, oh my goodness, the speakers were amazing. And then we just dive back into what we're used to. So these are the key challenges that you'll start to see as we leave this room. Show you what I mean. I'd like to invite you to stand. I know nobody likes a speaker who makes. When there is a struggle in adoption, when there is low buy-in with anything that we introduce, this is often where the trouble is. And then move on there, because most of us actually are sitting there with these unchallenged assumptions, the individuals that can disrupt ourselves and embrace change. And the very last one, probably one of my personal favorites, is we become the individuals that can leverage our network, leverage our partnership with the amazing partners that we have had conversations about today.
Nicholas Albus gave us the closing remarks before we moved on to the entertainment and networking. Overall, we had a wonderful day with Anthology.